Let's take a look at the bird trio in Darkness Ablaze. Welcome back everyone to more from the Sableyes. I'm Mitch, and today I'm going to take a look at a bird trio list that has been floating around a little bit. There's lots of variations on this. This one that I've picked up today has come from Stefan Ivanov on Twitter, so you want to check him out, then jump down into the description below. Also, you might notice we've got some new background music as well. That's from Glitch City, so if you're interested in hearing some more of that, it's actually pretty relaxed stuff. You've probably heard it before. There's a link down in the description to that. Whilst you're there, you might consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, and liking the video so that more people on YouTube can see it. It also gives me lots of endorphins, makes me feel very, very good in the head, so I'd appreciate it if you could do that. Let's jump across to PTCGO now and check out the list, see how Bird Trio is going to take some prizes and win some games on PTCGO. So here's 60 cards with a lot going on. It all focuses around Moltres, Zapdos, and Articuno, the Bird Trio. This card is from Hidden Fates. It is currently standard legal, and it has a lot of really cool attributes. The first one that's really important is it's got 300 HP, which for a Tag Team GX is exceptionally high. It's in the range of lots of VMAXs, so not a lot of things are going to be able to hit this and knock it out in one shot. We've got two attacks that we're going to try and utilize in this deck to win some games. We've got Trinity Burn, which for a fire, a water, a colorless, and a lightning energy will deal 210 damage. That's pretty expensive and an awkward energy cost to say the very least, but 210 is pretty solid. It'll take a knockout on lots of things in the format and will half hit everything, so that's really, really strong. And the cool thing about this card, the thing that kind of separates it from the crowd, is its GX attack, Sky Legends GX. For a colorless energy, we can shuffle this Pokemon and all cards attached to it back into our deck. That's not super impressive. The thing that's really cool is if we have a fire, a lightning, and a water energy on top of that base colorless energy cost, then not only do we get to shuffle this Pokemon back into the deck, but we also get to deal 110 damage to 3 of our opponent's Pokemon, including the active if we so choose, and that is going to potentially put us in a really, really good position. Now, 110 doesn't seem like that much, but combined with the fact that we get to shuffle the card back into the deck means that we've got a 3-prize attacker that can tank a hit, deal out some damage, and then a fresh Zapdos, Moltres, and Articuno can come in and potentially take the knockout. And the maths actually works really, really well. When you think about it, the things that we're trying to take knockouts on, those big VMAXs like Centiskorch, Eternatus, they have around 320, 330, 340 HP, and I'll just put it out there, 210 plus 110 is 320, so we're potentially going to be able to get a big knockout on a couple of VMAX Pokemon pretty easily here. Moltres, Zapdos, and Articuno needs a little bit of help getting powered up though, so we're going to use 4 copies of Victory Sign Victini in the list. For 1 fire energy, we can search our deck for 2 basic energy cards and attach them to our Pokemon in any way that we like. This is going to be pretty useful because we can find a lightning and a water energy if we'd like to attach to our bird trio. It means then we've got a little bit more flexibility to take some knockouts. So it's really, really good. It sets ourselves up nicely. It's a 1-prize attacker, so our opponent's not really going to be able to punish us too badly. The only deck that will really put some pain on when they take a knockout on Victini will potentially be ADP. An ADP with Zacian can potentially be remedied by a Victini V. We've got 1 copy of this card in the deck. Energy Burst, 2 fire energy will be enough to take a knockout on a Zacian V, which is obviously very important. It's not super critical to the list. This is the only deck that I've seen that runs it, but I do think it is a really good idea. Spreading Flame's also potentially a useful attack, although to be fair, we would rather use our regular Victini rather than Victini V, because we've got a little bit more versatility with our energy cost. In all, that's 8 Pokemon. That is it. That's all we've got access to. That's all we really need, because we just need to get Trinity Burn off twice, as well as the Sky Legends, and that should be enough to win us the game. The rest of the deck is built around getting that attack off as consistently as possible. Now, there's a lot to talk about here, so bear with me. This is a Greens deck, so we're going to use Pokemon that don't have abilities to search out trainers with Greens Exploration to try and set ourselves up. Now, we don't have to worry about abilities. There's no like, oh, if this is in play, this card doesn't work. Greens is always live in this deck, so we can always use this to search for 2 trainer cards, which is obviously going to give us a really good setup, but we do need to make sure that we've got other outs as well. We also have 4 copies of Welder, because this card can allow us to meet that energy criteria on Bird Trio very easily. The Water and Lightning can be accelerated by Victini. Welder can accelerate to another Bird Trio, which is fantastic. And then you've potentially got yourself a situation where if you've got another energy already attached to a Bird Trio, you can potentially power up another in a second turn as well. So it's kind of hard to explain, but just imagine if you've used Victini, you've accelerated to a benched Bird Trio, you can welder 2 fire energies to that Bird Trio, and then attach a water or a lightning to another one, so that next turn you can attach a water or a lightning and 2 more welded fire energy to the next Bird Trio. You can set yourself up. It's not too hard to do. You get it. You get it. I'm not explaining it well, but you understand. Welder very strong. We also have some generic draw in Professor's Research. This card is really strong in this deck specifically because sometimes you just need to burn through a ton of cards to find the stuff that you want, and Research can do that for you, especially in the early game. Very, very powerful. We're running a small account of them because it's not our main engine, but sometimes you do just need to use it. So keep it in mind. We have 2 copies of Boss's Orders to gust out potential knockout targets, and we've also got a Cynthia and Caitlin to try and bring some supporters back because we've got a little bit of flexibility when it comes to supporters thanks to 2 copies of Lieutenant Surge's strategy. This lets us play 3 supporters a turn, including the Surge, so we can play 2 more supporters after this one, and it means that we can boss and welder in the same turn, which is very, very strong. It also means that we can go looking for things out of the discard pile with Cynthia Caitlin. We can find a specific supporter if we need it. Surge opens up a lot of strategies for us, and it's really, really consistent because we always have a Victini in the opening in the active spot on our first turn, or at least almost always. We are 50% chance. We are a 50% chance to have it there. So we are likely to see that knocked out, which means that Surge is going to be active potentially as early as turn 2, which is very, very powerful. It's going to let us power up these Bird Trios quite quickly. There's a big old suite of supporters there. There's a lot to do, but there's a lot more Pokemon cards in this deck. Trainers that are items specifically are very, very difficult. I'm stumbling over my words because there's so many to talk about. Let's talk about Pokemon Search first. Tag Call, we have 2 copies of this. This will help us find our Bird Trio as well as a potential out to draw support with Cynthia and Caitlin. Tag Call at a 2 count and Quick Ball at a 2 count as well. We only need to use this once, so the general rule is you play 1 more card than you think you're going to need in a game. If we need Quick Ball once, then we play 2 just to make sure that it doesn't get prized to frustrate us. Quick Ball will find our Victini. Tag Call will find our Bird Trio. We want to get those sorted turn 1. Potentially, we could use 4 Pokégear to find a Greens to search those 2 out. We'll look at the top 7 cards of our deck and try and find a supporter there. This can also be really useful in the mid to late game looking for welders as well. Once we've got our Victini in the active, we need to find some energy. So we've got Energy Spinner. That'll find all colors of energy in our deck, which is fantastic. We have Energy Retrieval, just in case you've already discarded 1 or 2 to grab them back. We've got Giant Hearth to find ourselves 2 fire energies. And we also have Viridian Forest to get ourselves a single basic energy from the deck. All of those energy search cards are relatively easy to find. The fact that there's 1 counts of all of them doesn't make that much of a difference. You're really only looking for 1 on that first turn. We also have access to another stadium in Power Plant to slow down our opponent. They can't play Dedenne when Power Plant is down, and sometimes our opponents will try to kind of put themselves into a winning position by holding onto a Dene in their hand. We can power plant them and stop them from using that particular ability. If they do get the Denes down, we can always Great Catcher them up and knock them out. Obviously, 210 is bigger than 160, so Great Catcher could potentially be a gust out to win the game for us. We also have 2 copies of Switch. Again, we need to play this once to get our Victini out of the active and into the bird trio when we're ready. So Switch is available to us. It's actually more common to see you moving the bird trio out into the Victini, to be fair. We have 1 copy of Tool Scrapper to get rid of annoying tools that are in play. And we also have 2 copies of Lily's Pokédoll, which is a really, really cool bench sitter that we can use to benefit our GX attack even more. So let's just say we've got some damage on this not on this ADP, on this bird trio. Oh my goodness. On this bird trio, we've got some damage. Let's use Sky Legends to heal that damage off. We don't really want to go into another Victini. We don't want to give our opponent a prize. We will shuffle all of those bird trio cards into the deck and then go into the Lily's Pokédoll from there. So it's a pretty cool, niche little card. It's searchable by Greens. Very, very neat. You can get yourself a bit of momentum with that. And if your opponent has taken a bunch of prizes, let's just say they've knocked out a Victini and a bird trio, and we can always use 2 copies of Reset Stamp to send them down to a low hand size and try and win the game from there. And it's pretty consistent to get this stamp into your hand at the time you need it. Since we're playing Greens, we can search it out pretty much any time we like. Finally, some items that we're going to attach to our Pokemon. We've got 2 copies of Big Charm in the deck, as well as 2 copies of Vitality Band. Both of these cards are very important. Let's talk about them. Firstly, Vitality Band. If we can attach one of these to our bird trio, then we can potentially knock out an Eternatus in 2 hits as opposed to just 1. Eternatus has 340 HP, so we want to deal 220 with our first attack, and then 120 with our GX attack if we get the chance. Also, Vitality Band very useful against Zacians. If we can't knock it out with a Victini V, we can knock it out with the Vitality Banded bird trio. That'll do 220 damage. Similarly, Big Charm, also very important. We want to make sure that we've got as much HP as possible. 330 is a very tough number for lots of decks to deal with. Let's just talk about Eternatus again. They can deal 270. That's only 3 Zigzagoon ticks, and they'll be able to get a one-shot. If we play the Big Charm, then they either need to play Tool Scrapper or they need to find 3 more Zigzagoons, which is not always going to be possible. So, Big Charm, very, very useful. Potentially gives you some time as well to guarantee that you're going to be half hit. I don't know, maybe you're being hit by a Center Scorch and you want to give yourself a bit of an opportunity to survive because you know that they can only attach 3 energies or something like that. So Big Charm, very, very powerful tool in the deck as well. And again, all of them searchable by Green's Exploration. Finally, our energy, we've got a 6 line of fire and then 3 of both our lightning and water. I've seen decks playing powerful colorless as well because this card is a colorless Pokemon, just FYI, so you could potentially get some boosted damage there with that. There's a whole bunch of other cards that you can potentially play in this deck. There are a lot of cool combinations. I really like this version, so I'm going to test it out on the ladder in just a second. But if you want to play along, you want to play with this deck, then jump down into the description, check that list whilst you're there, give the video a like. That would be a really greatly appreciated. Let's jump onto the ladder, see if we can get some games, and hopefully this doesn't just clunk up as Green's decks sometimes can do. Alright, let's play a game. I've played one already, maybe a couple, I can't remember exactly how many. The win streaks in the thing, you can go back and look at it. We managed to get a couple of wins in testing before I started recording, but lots of them were kind of average, so it doesn't matter that we missed out. We've flipped heads. We've won the coin flip, so we're going to go second so that we can get access to our supporters, because it is actually very important that we can use our supporters on the first turn. We need to be able to get into our attackers, into our Victini, and Greens will allow us to do that. We've got Bird Trio in the active, Greens in hand, we've got Giant Hearth, so we've got the Victini guaranteed. It's just a matter of how many resources we need to spend to get it. Looks like our opponent is playing some sort of Volcanion-based deck. Could be looking at Center Scorch here, maybe Firebox as well. There's a few Firebox decks floating around. Maybe even the Torkoal Energy Denial deck, which I have also seen cropping up around the place. Our opponent has Giant Hearth in the active. Here comes a quick ball. We'll get an idea now as to what we are playing against. They'll probably grab themselves a Center Scorch V here, to be honest. No, they're going for Crobat. Okay, so they've obviously got something in hand already. Heatran coming down, an attachment, and then a Crobat for 3. And just passing. Okay, cool. So we've found a Fire Energy. That's pretty good. Let's use this Greens here. I definitely need a Quick Ball. I think I just grab Quick Ball and switch. Let's just have a look here and see what we've got access to. We've got pretty much all of our resources in our deck. All of our energy is there. This is all good. We can Quick Ball. I think we're going to be able to get rid of this Giant Hearth. Grab the Victini. We can attach, switch into the Victini, and then Victory Sign. Let's just attach this energy as well. I don't think we need the Big Charm right now. Victory Sign, we'll grab ourselves a Lightning and a Water Energy because we can search for the Fire ones with Giant Hearth. Attach them both to the Bird Trio, and this is almost a perfect start. The only way we could be in a better position is if we have access to Welder next turn. So getting ourselves a Welder or a Pokégear would be fantastic, because even if they do choose to knock us out with their Volcanion, which they might choose to do, then we've got access to an attack if we can Welder. But we are kind of we're top decking for our lives at the moment. Maybe they choose to Flare Starter to set up their board and instead don't knock out our Victini. That would be great. Could potentially have been worth it to attach the Big Charm there. Grabbing Boss's Orders. We're going to boss... Okay, cool. So they're going to boss out our Bird Trio here. And then just High Heat Blast. Okay, that's very interesting. And we've got the Pokégear. Okay, so we probably have to find some energy first. We'll thin out. And if we hit Welder, we're pretty much going to win this game, I think. Nice. Got the Welder. This is good. We can Welder 2 energy to the active. And I think removing both of these energy this early, this is going to be a really, really powerful spot to be in. We've also got the Big Charm and the Lily's Pokédoll here. We can take the knockout on this Volcanion, and there's not much really that our opponent can do, especially since we've got the Great Catcher in hand. We can take 2 prizes next turn and march on our way to victory. And we'll see what our opponent chooses to promote here. We did get a bit lucky, to be fair. Very lucky. But we've done the job, and that's all that matters. Our opponent taking a bit of time to make this decision. The decision is to concede. Fair enough. Fair enough. Alright, let's play again. Hopefully this time we can find one that's a little bit longer. Our opponent in that first game didn't quite get what they wanted going. It looks like our opponent's choosing to go first. We, again, don't find any basics, but that's not too surprising. We only have 8 Pokemon in the deck completely. I'm going to shuffle those away. We've found Bird Trio, we have Greens, we have Research and Surge. We are in a pretty solid spot here, actually. Let's think here. At the moment, we're going second. Depending on what we're playing against, we could actually just get a Trinity Burn off on turn 2 on our second turn. Playing Center Scorch. That's a little concerning, because they could potentially use their first attack, Radiating Heat, to discard any energy that I attach to Bird Trio early. Hopefully they just get overexcited and try and get into the VMAX as soon as possible. That would be good for us, because we want to take 2 VMAX knockouts, and we are in a pretty good spot to do that, considering Sky Legends will set up the knockout nicely. Our opponent's found another Center Scorch. They're going to Quick Ball again. Probably go looking for a support Pokemon here. Probably Dedenne. Maybe Crobat. Unless, of course, they've got something else that they want to do with their hand. Just sitting on this Quick Ball for a bit. Having a bit of a search. Trying to figure out what they've got. Volcanion. Okay, that's a pretty solid choice. They're going to play Volcanion down. It's not really going to do too much for them here, especially considering they're going first, but they have managed to find an energy to attach to it, so that's pretty good. We found a lightning energy as well. I don't think it's really worth trying to go for the Victini this turn. I feel like it might be better to just grab a welder, and then I guess the last card is a bit rough. Let's just see here. There's not a lot really that we need. I don't mind grabbing like Power Plant maybe. We need a supporter. Maybe the Big Charm. Maybe we grab Big Charm. Let's do that just to make it as hard as possible for our opponent to get a knockout. I'm going to Energy Spinner here. I don't need anything other than this water energy. I'll attach. I will play the Big Charm down and then pass, and hopefully our opponent doesn't go for Radiating Heat. It won't be a big deal if they do, it will just be annoying, frankly. This is why it would potentially have been better to try and find the Victini, but we would have had to have spent a lot of resources to get there. I feel happy being in this position, and this Center Scorch V has it's been powered up very slowly. 2 energies on it, one of them with a welder, so that's not bad. They're going in with a quick ball now. There's no energy in the discard pile, so they're not going to accelerate. Here comes Dedenne. They're going to play that down and get rid of their hand. Maybe trying to put a fire energy in the discard pile here, because if they manage to get one attached, then they are a welder and an attachment away from being able to two-shot this Moltres, Zapdos, and Articuno. Okay, so we might have put ourselves in a bit of a rough spot here, playing so conservatively. It's a bit awkward. That Pokédoll's really big because it gives us an out for next turn. We can weld it to the active, then attach a lightning. We've got a Victini as well. That's very good. We can attach a lightning. I think we just Trinity Burn. There's an argument for Sky Legends, but I think we just Trinity Burn, because if they knock us out, they have to have Welder to knock us out. So that's one part, but if they knock us out, then we can Surge and we can start looking for stamps and stuff. So I feel like this 210 is important. It also gives us a bit of an out just in case they play Mallow and Lana. Because if they play Mallow and Lana, they're not going to be able to knock us out. We might be able to knock them out because they'll heal 120, but that will leave them on, I think it's perfect maths, maybe? 110? No. 90? 90 plus 2? No, that's bad. That's bad news, Bears. Well, they're weldering anyway, so it doesn't matter. I think they've got the perfect amount of energy now. Was it 4, 8, 12, 16, 200, plus the 40 from the base. So they're going to be able to get the knockout here anyway. Maybe a bit of a risk. Maybe I didn't have to make that play, but it's okay. I'm just concerned about this Center Scorch in the active now. It's a bit worrying. Worrying indeed. Promote Victini is probably the right idea. At least we've got the fire energy in hand. We can Surge and then research. That is okay. I don't like the fact that we've just drawn another energy, though. That's very upsetting. We can research. We need a Greens, probably, to try and find access to a stamp. We've got gear. We've got the bird trio as well. Let's put this Big Charm down. Let's hope we get the greens. We do. We get greens off Pokégear. Excellent. So we can find ourselves here access to Reset Stamp and another card. I don't mind, like, Welder, maybe, again? We get Power Plant to stop him from using Dedenne. It's, this is weird. It's a weird spot to be in, because we've also lost a lot of energy, which I don't like. Got 2 fire and the coloured energy in the deck. Maybe Plant is the way to go. Get rid of the Giant Hearth. I need another supporter, though. Let's get a Welder. I don't have a draw supporter in my hand. It's not ideal. This will have to do. At least we can stamp them to 3. And we've got access to Giant Hearth for next turn. This is okay. This is alright. This is alright. So we can stand them to 3. We can Victory Sign. We can put the Lightning and the Water Energy again onto the Zapdos and Articuno and Moltres. Bird Trio, powering them up. Next turn we've got Welder on 2 energy from the Giant Hearth. We can take a knockout on the Center Scorch, and they will not be able to one-shot us again unless something crazy happens. So, as long as this Center Scorch gets knocked out this turn, we should be fine. Although I will dislevel the boss's orders, that's so bad. Okay, well now we just Sky Legends, right? Now we just Sky Legends, so we'll get rid of the Victini, find 2 fire energies, we can Welder, attach 2 energies to the active. Beautiful. We've got greens for next turn. That's pretty cool. We can play down this Lily's Pokédoll. And then we can just Sky Legends. We'll target down the active. That'll be a knockout. We put it on the bench as well. And then I guess just like Dedenne. Doesn't really matter, I don't think. I don't think it ever matters. We can put all of that damage down. Our opponent has 3 cards in hand. We have 9 with our 3 prizes. And we've got a Lily's Pokédoll in the active. And our opponent cannot win the game next turn. So, no matter what they do, they cannot win the game. We've got a Quick Ball, we've got a Pokégear, which is good. We've got a couple of Vitality Bands, not as necessary. Let's see how we go. Our opponent could potentially like start powering up the benched Center Scorch with full Fire Starter. Or maybe they're just going to go for the knockout on Lily's Pokédoll. That's fine by me. This is fine. Okay. We promote Victini here. We've got access to Quick Ball, so we can find the Bird Trio instantly. We will Quick Ball. Get rid of a Vitality Band to find Bird Trio. Here we go. This is looking pretty good. We can use greens, I think, to find Welder. Because we need Welder again. Let's go and grab that Welder. There is one. There's 2 left. Let's grab that. What's our last card gonna be? I don't mind Power Plant now, actually, because now we can use the stadium, the Giant Hearth, and then replace it with Power Plant to stop them from being able to use another Dedenne to get out of the active, so to get out of this dead hand. So I don't mind this. I don't think there's a better combo. There could be, though. That's the thing. I always had greens decks. There always could be a better combo. Maybe you just get, like... Oh... Maybe get Great Catcher? No, I don't need that. I think Power Plant is still right. Let's go for that. We've got to use the Giant Hearth first. We'll put the Big Charm down so we don't accidentally discard that. Let's see. Discard. I don't think we need this Tool Scrapper. We can get rid of that. Grab the last 2 Fire Energy from the deck. We've still got access to those Lightnings and Water Energies. And then we need to replace Giant Hearth with Power Plant. And then, yeah, Victory Sign, I think, is fine. Oh, I've already clicked the button. Probably should have manually attached one of those Fire Energies, because then I would have been able to attach and Gust for game if our opponent put down the VMAX. That's okay. It's fine. Going for Fire Crystal. I get 3 Fire Energies back from the discard pile. They'll be looking for Welder here. If they find Welder, that would be great for them. You know, attach to the Center Scorch and then High Heat Blast. So no supporter yet. We are in the clear here. We do have to Welder though, which means we leave our opponent access to their Center Scorch, but it doesn't really matter. As long as we can hold on to this boss, we should be fine. We will Welder. There's nothing else really that we should do. Let's maybe hold this. Throw this Pokégear away. Grab Cynthia Caitlin. I reckon that's probably the only thing that we really want to use. Leave the boss in there just in case we get money. Give ourselves a chance to find that. And then we Trinity Burn, knock out the Volcanion, take a last prize. And yeah, our opponent either needs to knock out our attacker this turn, or they need to get rid of our hand. Because our hand at the moment has boss's orders in it, which means that we're going to be able to win this game if our opponent doesn't deal with our hand. I think we're going to get there. I think we're going to get there. I don't know if Centiskorch VMAX plays Reset Stamp. It might. This Heat Fire Energy is a bit frightening, though. Means that we're not going to be able to take the knockout straight away. Just to pass. Okay, cool. So we've won this one. We can just gust out the Centiskorch. And Trinity Burn for 210. Let's go again. This deck's actually really fun. I'm really enjoying myself. We'll give it one more game. See how we go. Alright, one last game. I didn't quite get my recording started. We've won. This is fantastic news. I think I've done pretty... I've done pretty well with these coin flips. I've been saying this a lot, but I just win every coin flip. Like, I've been trying to show games with live commentary now, and yeah, I'm just still winning all the coin flips. So, I don't know. Eternatus. Okay, so we're going to play an Eternatus deck here and a Zigzagoon. Okay. We've got an okay start. We've got Greens and the Bird Trio. We're seeing a scoop up net, so I'm going to get some value out of this Zigzagoon here. Another one! Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, so now we are within range of an Eternatus V, which is a bit concerning. They've got a Capture Energy on the Eternatus. That'll find another Eternatus. This is almost a perfect start from our opponent here. All that we can... Oh my god, they're going to Pokemon away a Crobat. Do they have another one in hand already? No, they're just going for the full art. They're just looking for the full art Crobat, and fair enough too. Know your priorities. Another Zigzagoon! Oh my gosh. Okay, well, this is not ideal. Let's grab Lily's Pokédoll. I will get a Greens Exploration as well. I need Quick Ball for sure. I think I need Switch as well. Yeah, let's just grab these two. We've got Tag Call here. I think I might just grab another Moltres, another Bird Trio. Because I can Quick Ball... I don't really want to get rid of this Vitality Band, but I think I have to. I'll Quick Ball away to get the Victini. I'll put the Victini in play. We'll switch into it. I will attach an Energy. We'll bench the fresh Bird Trio. And then I think I accelerate the Energy to that Bird Trio. I'm going to Water and a Lightning on that Bird Trio. That means that we have at least got an opportunity to have some damage soaked up by this Bird Trio, because the one on the bench has already had 40 damage done to it. So that's very annoying. Okay, so they've got the High Darkness on the Eternatus in the active. They'll try and find the VMAX. They'll probably do that with this Pokecom here. And then they'll draw some more cards to get rid of another Crobat. This man's got Crobats for days. I mean, there's 4 in the deck, so of course he does. Eternatus VMAX will evolve in the active. That will get a knockout on the Victini quite comfortably. They're going to research here as well. But this is fine. This is fine. It's fine. It's fine. Because as long as we get an opportunity to attack with this Bird Trio, we should be okay. We need to top deck Welder again, though. We need to get very, very lucky here. I'm concerned. I'm concerned big time. They're going for Crobat for 1? What are they digging for, I wonder? Here's the Dread End. Okay. Let's see here. Can we do anything, really? We got Pokédoll. Okay, so we've found Surge. We can Surge for Greens for Welder. We can achieve that. I think we can achieve that. Let's Surge. Then we'll play Greens. We'll find ourselves... Scroll all the way through here. We'll find ourselves a Welder. We might need the Big Charm. Actually, do we get the Big Charm or do we guarantee the energy with the Hearth? If we get the Hearth, then we get rid of the Black Market as well. This is a tough one. I also just want to have access to another draw supporter that isn't the ones that we have at the moment. I think we have to get the Hearth, though. That seems like the best option. We can play down the Hearth. We can get rid of... I think we have to get rid of the Fire Energy. I can't really get rid of the Cynthia Caitlyn right now, because that's our only guaranteed draw out in hand. So we'll get the Fire Energy with the Fire Energy. We'll weld it onto the benched Bird Trio. We've got Greens. That's fine. Do I switch or do I Lily's Pokédoll here? I think I want to hold on to the switch just in case. This is hard. Hard choice. If I poke it all, the Pokédoll goes to the bottom of the deck, I can always just grab one. Let's just get it. We can always just grab one with greens next turn. We'll put the Moltres, Zapdos, and Articuno in the active. They need a Zigzagoon and a Scoop Up Net. They've got 3 left in the deck. Let's just Trinity Burn and hope for the best. Yep. Okay, Trinity Burn. So they need Zigzagoon and Scoop Up Net to knock us out, plus a full bench, which won't be hard to do. They've attached to another Eternatus on the bench. They're playing down Power Plant. That doesn't bother us even remotely. They might choose to, like, try and gust out the benched bird trio, which would be really good for us, because it would give us a turn to find the Big Charm. Grabbing Crobat, so no... Yeah, here's the boss. Okay, cool. So they're going to target down the benched bird trio instead, which means that next turn we can greens for the stamp, as well as greens for the charm. Perfect. So they're going to Dread End here. They would have been able to get the knockout on the active if they had a Zigzagoon. They also don't get the knockout on this one either, because they didn't get the bench full. This is madness. This is absolute madness. Okay, so reset stamp not required now. Big Charm definitely. What else do we need? Kind of like wouldn't mind another supporter. Research? Maybe? Maybe Surge? It's Research. I think we've got to have something in our hand. We've got to be able to draw cards next turn if everything goes wrong, because we're not going to be able to comfortably be... We're not going to... Yeah, no, we have to get this Research, because we can't draw cards otherwise. So we'll put the Big Charm down. We've got the switch. We're going to switch into the benched bird trio. We can Trinity Burn, take the knockout. That's 3 prizes. Now our opponent is going to need to remove 2 of their benched Pokemon, which is really good. We're taking 3 prizes. They need a bunch of stuff, actually. Actually, I think we can win this game next turn. I think it's as simple as that. Because they need to fill their bench out to get close to a knockout, right? They need to do 40 ticks worth of Zigzagoon damage to knock out the active. They need to do a ton of damage. I think we're going to be able to win here with Sky Legends GX knocking out 3 Zigzagoons. That's my game plan. Let's see if it pays off. Pokecom from our opponent will shuffle away Eternatus V. You'd think that would get the V Max. Maybe a Crobat. Potentially. Depends what they've got in their hand. If they've got the V Max or the Crobat, they obviously get whatever. Crobat, that's fine. Sorry, I'm just excited knowing that we're going to be able to Sky Legends here. They're going for 3. Have they found the V Max? Have they found the V Max? We might be seeing a Power Accelerator. Oh my god! Sky Legends for game. We're going to be able to do it. Just click the button, Sky Legends GX. We will target down all of these Zigzagoons. 110 damage to each of them. And we have well and truly stolen that one. I feel like there was a lot of opportunity for our opponent to win that game, but we managed a 5-0 victory. So there you have it. If that does not show off the fact that Bird Trio does have a place in this format, beating Centiskorch and Eternatus, then I don't know what else will. This deck's actually a lot of fun. I would sincerely recommend it for anyone who hasn't played with this card before or who is looking for something a little bit different in this format. Definitely check out the list. Check out the rest of the channel as well if you want to see some other decks similar to this one. Have a little bit more fun in the Darkness Ablaze format by checking out some of the videos over here or the playlist down the bottom here. That would be greatly appreciated. Don't forget to subscribe and like and do all that good stuff. Thank you everyone for joining me for this one, and I'll see you next time for more from the Sableyes. Bye.